Well, good morning or good afternoon. I don't know where we are. That happens quite frequently. So, good morning, because I think that's where we are. We are pleased this morning that we have with us Cheryl. And Cheryl has been with A Touch of Understanding for about a year.
Close to a year.
And you have a unique story about how you've been connected. So you are one of our team/family members of A Touch of Understanding. And we are so pleased that you're going to spend a few minutes with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, how did you learn about and get connected to ATOU?
Well, I had worked for another agency for a couple years. This agency helps individuals with disabilities get employment. So I worked with several, I call them my friends, because I got to know them very well and very closely. And I would help them try to get a job.
Okay.
But on the side where they were trying to find employment, we did a lot of volunteer opportunities.
Okay.
And within those volunteer opportunities, they were learning skill sets to help them to get a job.
Okay.
And so...
and you were responsible for helping them with some of those skill sets?
Yes.
Like job preparation, and resumes and interviewing and all that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So, of all the variety of volunteers, places that we would go, one individual in particular that I worked with still does, volunteers for ATOU.
Okay.
And pretty much on a weekly basis.
Does she work in the office, or does she come in, is she a speaker?
She's a speaker.
She's a speaker, okay.
Mm-hmm.
In our workshops?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I had the unique opportunity of working with her very closely because I had to support her.
Okay.
And so she talks with a device.
Okay.
And it's a NovaChat device.
Okay.
And so I had to support her at her wrist. And then that helped her to get those, the memory and, all the cognitive going.
Okay.
And helped her to type out her messages.
Okay.
And it was just such a wonderful experience because now I've been on both sides.
Okay.
And so being on the side of where the children are sitting and listening, and it was always so fun because the kids would come into the classroom and they would look at everybody who was waiting to be a speaker to talk, and always kind of curious, and they would always look at who I was with and just kind of like what's unique with her.
Okay.
And so and when she would do her presentation and talk to the students
And tell her story. Okay.
It was like the whole demystifying of everything. Those walls would just come down.
Oh, wow.
And the kids would like almost become her best of friend. They would, they'd ask her all kinds of questions, want to know everything about her childhood, about the jobs that she does have, how she does things, how she has her own jewelry business, how she creates her own jewelry.
Wow.
And I think they loved watching her, communicate on her device. That was always fun for them.
Of course.
But at the end of the whole speaker presentations, they would always come up to her and want to high five, say, thank you. Just, they were in love with her. And just watching it from that point of view, from that side,
right,
that just, I don't know, it just would just warm my heart.
So you help in the workshops now.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do now that you're on the other side? What do you do in the workshops to help the children?
I feel like I do a little bit of everything,
You wear different hats.
Yes, literally. What's today's? Let's put on this one. Yeah. So because my title is workshop and administrative assistant, so I do a lot of different things in the office.
Yes, I know.
And then I do, helping out at the workshops and wherever I need to fill in. And I have been having the wonderful opportunity of learning all the, different stations and starting to lead them.
Okay, good.
And so,
do you have a favorite one?
You know, I think the one that really touches my heart
Okay.
is the Invisible Disabilities Station.
Okay.
And
So learning
the
disabilities.
learning disabilities
Okay.
and the autism. Yeah.
Okay.
Just from working with individuals who have, who have struggled in those areas,
Okay.
that has really touched me, and how to portray that to the students so that they can see it, understand it, and once they get that understanding,
Right.
then
The light goes on, huh?
yeah, and that whole demystifying, just breaks those walls down, and they're like, so that's what they must be going through, and I can kind of understand why maybe sounds and noises and textures
Yes.
can be bothersome, and lighting, and it gives them that complete awareness, and then they're like, hey, you know what? That's okay, and I can be a friend.
Now, have you been in some of the workshops while we're there that maybe one of the participants, one of the children in the group, actually raises a hand or says something about that they in fact have a disability?
Oh yes,
Oh.
and that's what I also love about with ATOU is it's this safe environment.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I won't go into particulars, but one child brought up something so hard that she's going through in her family,
Oh boy.
and then it caused the other children to speak up and say, I'm going through the same thing.
Whoa.
And it really,
That changes everything.
and you wonder, if the teachers even know those circumstances.
Exactly. Because
And
they
then-
feel so alone and isolated.
Yes, and so then they can hear it and go, oh, maybe that's what's going on with that child.
Exactly.
And it just helps, I think, everyone in the room, the children, themselves,
Yeah.
with their classmates, and then the teachers.
You see some aha moments with the teachers going,
Oh yeah,
whoa.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So that definitely is something I love watching.
Yeah. Well, that's a side benefit. It's not necessarily something that we always lead with,
Yeah.
but the fact that is an extra opportunity that is always there, and that's huge, that when it does come out and the other children, because that's happened many, many times.
Oh yeah,
We have many stories on that.